I had a great time today testing and tuning in Squiata. The tune is pretty much down pat. The auto tune feature wouldn't even make any changes on the way home. However, I did actually crack the wastegate flange off of the manifold again. It's not very bad yet, but I definitely can't drive it anymore. And I believe the reason why I'm having this problem is the OEM motor mounts. I can actually see the downpipe from inside the cockpit here. That's it right there, the shiny piece of stainless. And when I floor it, you can see that thing move upwards close to an inch, maybe more. And I think what's happening is from all that movement, it causes it to get into the area of the tire. And once the wheel hits it, it's just enough force to find the weakest link and break it. So I went ahead and ordered some solid polyurethane motor mounts for this thing. It's gonna make a lot more vibration and noise, but I mean, we don't even have any floors in this car, so I don't really think it's gonna be that much of a difference. I am gonna go ahead and pop off the turbo manifold again to repair it, and I won't be driving it anymore until I get the motor mounts. Hopefully they come in sometime early next week. The one silver lining of continually breaking this thing is becoming very familiar with how to take it apart efficiently. And I think, you know, that goes for almost anything. If you look at it in a negative light, probably be pretty negative, but if you put a positive spin on it, you'll get through it. Well, there you go. I think that took me all of 20 minutes to get this guy out, and then we'll just re-weld this beautiful huge crack, jeez, and get it reinstalled. Got her all welded back up, and I'm actually gonna wait to put the manifold back on because it looks like accessing that engine mount is gonna be one hell of a lot easier without the turbo system in the way. So we'll just be waiting on those mounts then. Well, our solution to the problem we're having with Squiata hopefully has arrived. I went with some 95A poly bushings from RevShift. I guess E30 uses the same bushing as a Miata, so it's interesting. But I've already started tearing the car apart and got the driver's side mount out. Unfortunately, I left the car parked on the dirt when I took the turbo system off, and the turbo system is still off, so I decided to just swap the motor mounts here. But we're already halfway there. You can kind of see the damage that happened to these mounts in a short amount of time. I've been ripping around in the car. They're already torn pretty much all the way across. Definitely our problem. Well, I got the passenger side out. It was a lot harder than the driver's side because of the intake manifold and the starter and the slave cylinder and everything else that gets in the way over there, the oil filter. But I did get it out. I had to separate these two pieces before I was even able to get it out from underneath the intake manifold. That was fun, but we're ready to install this guy, and I hope it goes a little smoother. So everything on the underside of this car is pretty tight. The subframe is multiple, well, it just takes up a lot of area, I'll say that. And this hole right here is where I had to take the motor mount out of, and we're gonna try and put the new one back in there. I think this is gonna be the best angle, and let's keep our fingers crossed so we can get it to go down there. There it is. All right, now we just gotta line it up. All right, well, we got the motor mounts installed and the car's back on the ground, so now we're just gonna go ahead and reinstall our turbo kit and see what kind of difference the motor mounts made. Hopefully the last time we'll ever have to see the motor mounts. You guys ever get the hardest bolt tightened down and then realize that you got to take it back off because you screwed up? I just left the part that holds that water pipe on in front of the manifold behind the manifold, and My manifold's not exactly that easy to install. Manifold is tightened down. Next up is turbo. Alright guys, we got the turbo reinstalled and the drain line, supply line, the exhaust. We're about to install the dump tube, and I just wanted to point out that I sprayed a little bit of spray paint on the surface where the wheel was making contact before, and the reason why I did that was because I want to know for sure whether or not the wheel is still making contact before I break off the wastegate again. Got everything back installed, and you can kind of see the gray spray paint that I just sprayed on there in that spot, and that'll tell us real quick whether or not the tire's rubbing. Alright, it's time to see how it feels. I can already tell you that I feel a lot more vibrations and hear a lot more stuff rattling around. And of course we didn't make it very far. What ended up happening this time was the AFR gauge wiring fell down onto the downpipe and melted all of it. So got some splicing to do, but the car vibrates a whole hell of a lot more. Like where it idles at right now, it's kind of unbearable, honestly, but the motor doesn't move at all, and the tire did not hit the downpipe. So we'll do a little bit more testing after we fix this wiring mess, and then see where we're at. There's also an exhaust leak that was kind of suffocating me. Who remembers Twizzlers? It's exactly what we got going on here. Oh, I guess we're going farther up than that. Still dead. That's not. Our new lens is here, so hopefully we will protect it a little bit better this time. I'm gonna get it installed, and unfortunately I don't have time to do any work right now, but this afternoon we'll get into it.